Well, and to Harry Seaman's point, I want to serve the audience here. And trigger warning, there's it's a little bit of a heavy subject, but why don't we take it on just because we are amongst superheroes and that is our job. If it would be bad if we had the powers and we didn't use them for good. Do we agree? Harry Siemens has been covering farmers for 55 years. Congratulations and thanks for the work that you've done, Harry. And farming with his brother and his father for 10 years. Well, congratulations on that and growing up on the farm. I saw my father have a total nervous breakdown in 1964. Thank God he recovered totally. Now I keep seeing that the latest stat 3.5 more suicides than any other segment. Is it 3.5 times more suicides than any other industry, I guess, maybe, Harry? What is the biggest reason?
Do you want the kosher answer? Or you want the hard
I
answer,
want
Dan?
you to be totally authentic and real and grow in the future every time you appear.
The hard answer is that we're afraid to fail, which is the easiest one. I mean, we put so much pressure on the generations coming. I mean, this is a legacy farm. It's been here for X amount of years. You can't fail. You can't. And that, pardon my language, that's bull. It's it's a business that's been run for many, many years, and you get the pride of being family, but that's not a pride that gets handed down and you have to wear it. It you have to start treating it more like a business and less like a lifestyle. And I know you've heard me say that a million times, but we got to be realistic. The stress that comes with agriculture, yes, part of it's the volatility, but I mean, there's other industries that go through this kind of stuff as well, guys. It's just in agriculture, there's a type of pride with farms, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's the reason we're in this situation. We got to start realizing that don't do it alone. You have groups like the one on the call today, and B, it's just a business, guys.
Well, I love that. Thanks for sharing that. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
I jump in down a bit. I think my eyes were open to this a bit, and I think it was 2014 when I spent a year in Australia working in agriculture, and they have an initiative there called Beyond Blue, and it was this conversation about roughly around 10 suicides a day, but the pressure was primarily, I think it was like 75% of those were amongst males, and inside of farming, I think it was 100% higher than any other industry in Australia. And so I saw the pressure in that, and in a sector where lots of actually farm advisors and things like that. They don't have insurance. The banking is a little tighter, as we know, it's a pretty drought-stricken area, and there's a lot of pressure on people in this industry that started. So as we come back here to Canada and we're talking about it, I think exactly with what Evan is saying. I find a lot of times as an advisor in these calls where the numbers are easy. We're talking about numbers. We're working with the bankers. We have these meetings. It's like the meeting after the meeting that actually takes the most time. And it's the conversations that we're having about these farms, how they show up as a husband or a wife, or as a mom or a dad, and just this like taking them from awareness to action because they kind of know the decisions they need to make already. You're just there to help them at times make them so that they can walk through the front door and be available to others. And anyway, a lot of this piece is the soft skills side, but it's absolutely prevalent and it's important for us as advisors inside of them to be that circle and to have that hold space for them when it needs to be. It's not just numbers.
Appreciated. Yeah. Anyone else want to chime in on that? I want to hold space for this conversation until we're done. So anybody else want to comment on that before we move on?
I can jump in a little bit too. I think, like, thinking about being a producer on a farm, it can be kind of isolating too. And if you might have your immediate team around you, and sometimes it's just nature of whether it's nature of the business or kind of the mindset that Evan was talking about of kind of what we've seen in the past. There's there's a little bit of isolation in some cases, and I think it's important to just be open and talk to everybody around you. Everyone's facing their own situation, and this is not just an agriculture discussion. It's any personal anybody's individual person can go through hard times at any given time, and just be open to talk to others. And there's resources available, and especially in the agriculture space, there's the CCAW, Canadian Center for Agriculture Wellbeing, is a really great resource that offers. There's some, I think, like a couple even free therapy sessions and things like that for egg producers across the country. And there's lots of good resources. And I would also say, like, when you're talking finances and in egg, it's more than it is business. But to Evan's point, a lot of people, like, it's their lifestyle. The group on the farm, it feels like there's more at stake a lot of times. And again, like, shifting that mindset that there's we need to think about removing that a little bit, which is hard and, you know, impossible in some cases. But when things are potentially tighter, or, you know, the financial side isn't working out quite as planned, we know there's volatility in agriculture, things happen out of producers' control all the time. It's having a team around you to, number one, talk to, plan together, and find options together and make a plan to go forward. Because there's always a plan, especially early on. There's always something that can be done. It's not like, you know, it has to be all doom and gloom, right? There's lots of positives, and there's lots of good options out there.
Yeah, issues compound without good communication. And one of the things that strategic coach does teach you is how to take a free day, which I don't know if we've ever heard before in agriculture, and give us permission. We got to get in groups and give us permission to share these kind of things. Roberta Gilbraith is saying Sask Ag Matters just announced this week a crisis line, as well as no cost counseling for farmers in Saskatchewan. This is huge. Saskatchewan government step up to help make this happen, and do more and ag has been really active, and it's a conversation maybe we never had before. We didn't even think too much about it before, and I think we're making strides.